license. So they, number one, COVID, they fired their head.
That's right.
And then they can't hire them back. All those people went off and got good jobs.
Yeah, that's true. And the other factor is, I'm not sure Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation, understands a lot of that.
She understands that.
No, I'm being nice.
Zero. Maybe minus one. It's amazing. I got two friends that are designated pilot examiners. One in Ocala, one in Dunell. And they all packed up and went over.
Yeah.
They're all
I look different.
And they sit down in a room.
Yeah, no, yeah, it is, yeah, I'm saying, these are just proposed.
47 DPUs, designated pilot examiners. This is a seminar on what's changed in the FAR. Well, they went over what's changed
Thank you
in
for
the
your help,
FAR,
Galen.
and then the audience started asking questions about what was that. And they got up and walked out and said, that's not part of this meeting. And here all these people had traveled from Florida and everywhere else to Oklahoma City to get some answers to some issues that were clear out there.
I had one meeting when I was stationed at Aviation, the Navy section of Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma. And I had to go into the FAA because we had an issue over whether our facilities met one of the requirements that they wanted. And I always laughed. I said, here's the military, and here's the FAA, and they're all arguing over which requirements to go through, and you think would be the same.
You would think.
And, their air traffic control school there was just, they couldn't get people.
Yeah. The FAA's got the same problem, and not only that, they've got a new cadre of managers who are strictly bureaucrats. If they really say this, then that's what we gotta do, and we're gonna do it, and we're not gonna change the regs. We're not gonna even give it a reasonable interpretation.
Well, the one that got me was the new FAA director is a lawyer. Now he's a private pilot now. I was reading about, he was a lawyer, he wasn't even a pilot, he's now a pilot, private pilot license. And his whole issue was previously, I guess he worked for one of the airlines also for a few years as a counsel, but it was all on litigation of what had to be done, or somebody would say something and I'm going, that's fine. But he only received his pilot's license. They said after he was nominated for the position, he also worked as a legal officer of an attorney for the FAA.
I have a
10 years
gavel.
ago for a year.
How exciting.
They forgot it.
And we have a timer.
They were in a hurry to get out of
We
here.
have a timer too.
Oh, no.
Just the minimum he needed to get his license.
Who keeps
And
bringing in
that's all he's
structure?
got.
When they come back in, hide it.
Good afternoon, everybody. I've never had a gavel before. This is very exciting. I want you to know that. Sorry about the tardiness, but the June meeting of the Citrus Aviation Board is now in session. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for your patience. I hope you enjoyed the coffee and the donuts. If I could please impose upon you to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Ladies, my apologies. I know Caitlin. Rachel, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us. I can't help but notice that it takes two of you to do the job that Danae was doing on her own. Or did it sound like just so much fun that you were fighting over it and decided to just both join us? Yeah, yeah. Well, either one of you, if I could impose upon you, please to let us know who's here today. That would be great.
Sure. In attendance, we have Heiko.
That's me.
Okay. Do we have Lewis?
No.
Nope. Carl?
Here.
Charlie?
Here,
And Mark?
Here.
Thank you.
And that is it. For you, Charlie.
thank you.
Members of the board, have you each had the opportunity to review the minutes from last month?
We did.
Any comments, concerns, additions? If not, I would love to have a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mark, second by Charlie. Discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Last month's minutes are approved. Thank you very much. Love to throw the meeting open to the public. If anybody here, I know it's 15 minutes late, but if there's anybody that has anything they'd like to bring forward, please do so now. Andy.
Andy Chan, Red Redder Aviation. Just real quick, give you some updates. Inverness runway cleaning, which you guys will talk about, but I won't have an opportunity to speak with, has been going forward. Really happy that that is happening because there's a big difference between what it looked like before, what it looks like now, and we've been working very closely with the cleaning team to make that happen. The whole time our operations have been going with a modified schedule, so we appreciate that we've been able to continue operations while that work is ongoing. Kind of not related to Citrus County airports, but exciting news in aviation aerospace this week. I'm not sure if those of you who caught it, but Starship just launched earlier today with a successful mission. Super excited about that, along with the Boeing aircraft that launched, I think, yesterday. So super exciting on those fronts. We were able to watch it over at the Cape. Super exciting news for space moving forward. But that's all I'll leave you with. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. How's it going?
Hi, Barry Simons, President of EA Chapter 1674. Just thought I'd give a quick update on everything. We had another successful Young Eagles rally, and so far to date, we've flown 64 youth between the age of 8 and 17. So we're on status for keeping things going with aviation. We've also officially now our gold standard chapter, which is the highest ranking that an EA chapter can get. And also just one question, is there, Todd, any update on the signage that we were requesting?
It's going to be a part of the scope of work for that
Okay,
project.
so
So
it'll be a couple, okay,
yeah, it's going to be some time before you're probably going to see anything.
Okay.
Is that,
that's fine, yeah.
okay.
Just wanted to know where.
Your request has not fallen on deaf
Okay.
ears.
Great, thanks so much. Okay.
problem.
And if anybody's interested, I do have the before and after pictures of the cleaning of the Inverness runway. It's a big difference.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've heard.
Yeah, it's a big improvement. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll close the open to the public portion of the meeting for now. On to new business. Mr. Reagan, I understand we have a proposed budget for next year.
Yes, in front of you are two packets. One's going to be your CIP, the other one's my operating budget. The CIP has already gone through the approval process up to the board. Well, actually, first I should say is apologize. I should have brought this to you guys months ago. I didn't know that. Now that I do, moving forward, it won't happen again. So, anyway, you have the CIP in front of you, and you also have the operating budget too for your review.
Thank you. Members of the board, seeing as how we just got this, I might suggest that we take this home, look it over as time permits over the next month, and discuss in July. Is that good with everybody?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Old business, any updates?
Okay. Power line ball markers. Talking with the gentleman from Duke. Their first quote was $26,000 to hang up those balls on the power lines. The first time we did it on Godfrey was under $2,000. That includes buying the ball markers. Their labor cost was $650. And I just want to make sure I put that on record. So it was, but I did talk with a gentleman about this, and they came back with another proposal for 9,000. And really, is that, the reason why I'm bringing this up is this something that you want done? Is this something that you feel is necessary, that the county needs to put in this large amount of money for these ball markers? I know it kind of sounds, I'm sounding a little biased, but
Do you have any idea why it's still so much more expensive than the previous job? I mean, is there a substantial difference in the work that needs to be done?
in the work, no. The height difference, I think, is the Penn Street utility poles, I think, are 25 feet higher.
Okay.
Shouldn't make a big difference, but there is one difference I noticed, is that the lines in front of 18, those are, I think those are distribution lines through Duke, and the ones on Penn Street are transmission lines. I think that's the way you describe it. So it's a different department you're dealing with when it comes to an agreement. So, that's the only thing I could find that's different, to answer your question.
So,
Yes, sir.
Are you saying that on Godfrey, it's,
Labor was $648, and the Barker balls, I think, were $250 a pop, something like that. And I put up 3.
and that's a distribution line?
I believe that's the way he described it. So even though that the person that, the gentleman that hung up the marker balls on Godfrey, I talked with him. I signed an agreement with him because that was his department. I'm talking with a different department because they're transmission.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
it does. It does.
But it's still departments of Duke.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Yes, sir.
also the voltage issue too. The transmission lines are 10 kV and the other distributions
Yeah.
are much lower.
Sure. I just the work, I just don't see how that.
Presumably, the balls themselves are still $250 a piece. It's just
Yeah,
that the
roughly.
labor's gone up from
The labor has gone up,
$650 to $8,500.
9,000.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm bringing it to you, so.
Charlie, you probably fly out of Crystal River more than any of us. What's your point of view?
Well, I guess my point of view is that that set of power lines is far enough south of the airport, so I don't think that there are a significant hazard. If we, I think it's obviously putting the balls up would make it more safer, but I don't plan on being that low, that far away from the airport, especially since Eagle Buick's 500 square foot flag is not very far south of that.
That's hard to miss.
It is.
Okay.
So let me ask this, Charlie. You've flown on I've never flown on the grass strip. Whenever you're taking off to the south and you're pulling up, where's your ascent?
Typically, over Venerable, you'll be at about 250 feet,
Okay.
and that power line is, how far south of Venerable would you say? Quarter mile?
I'm unsure about that, but I know the utility poles are, I think they're 75, could be 100 feet tall.
Yeah.
At least the tallest ones there, I think, are around that size. But the distance from those lines to the end of 36,
Well, even if
over
it's-
200 feet, I know that.
Even if it's $9,000, one accident will pay for it.
feet.
It's, I mean, if you want to look at it that way.
Safety first,
Yeah.
but if you're already at 250 feet by the time you cross Penn, you're 150 feet, 150 feet above those lines.
And,
I was just trying to think of the flight path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That theoretically, you will have pulled up sufficiently that you would avoid that, given good weather conditions. And obviously, if there's not good weather conditions, you're just not gonna fly. I know I'm not.
If there's not good weather conditions, you're certainly not gonna be operating on 1836.
No, sir. No,
Right,
sir.
right. If you, to answer your question, if you do everything right, you're not gonna come anywhere close to those power lines, just as you're not gonna come anywhere close to the Godfrey power lines. You're not. How do you compare the two? I would argue that the Godfrey power lines are lower out of the flight path than the Penn are. The Penn pose a higher risk, in my view, having flown out of there, than the Godfrey power lines. Do they pose a risk enough to make it worth that kind of money? That's a good question. As Charlie says, one bad day is gonna cost the county a lot more than $9,000. Will that day ever come? You never know. That's why you buy insurance. So this is an insurance policy, if nothing else. So then the question is there somebody above both of these departments at Duke that we can talk to that would be able to look at the fact that they charge us this much for the first one and that much for the next one, and see if we can meet somewhere in the middle?
Sure, I can continue, I can respond to him and say no, or I can have a
I
conversation
mean,
with
it's
him.
great that they already came down from 20,000 to 9,000.
26,000.
26,000, even
I
better.
gotta make that point.
You are one heck of a negotiator there. Let's see how low we can
Thank you.
get them.
Thank you. All right, well, then I can inquire more if that's what the board wants.
Please. Anything else?
With that topic, no.
Anything new on the runway 9 GPS approach?
No new updates.
The bylaws, we approved them last month, and they are ready to go to the board for somebody's signature.
Yes, I'm gonna have those drafted and they'll be ready for July, I think it's the middle of July. The
Great.
second meeting in July, I believe.
Wonderful. Gate codes, we have new ones. Does everybody know what they are? Everybody that needs to know what they are?
Just another courtesy reminder, I know the gate codes were changed. I sent out an email to applicable people. If you need a gate code, contact your FBO, identify yourself, or contact me so we can verify who's gonna have this code, does it make sense, is it reasonable, and then we can pass that out. Obviously, I cannot do that over email or text or anything, you know. But yeah, if you need it, let me know, or let your FBOs know.
Great. Locksmith?
And just an update for that, just waiting for the schedule. I've been getting some emails and calls about that, when are the locks gonna get changed. You will know. As soon as I get that schedule, my plan is to work with each individual, whether I'm gonna have a specific day to show up to an FBO and pass out keys. If you're not here, then the point is, I'm gonna work with whoever the tenant is to make sure you get your keys. So, more to follow, but that's it.
And I hear you have some good news about the Pappies.
Pappies
At
were,
Crystal River.
yeah, they were inspected, and they were a little off. I think a little 3.5 degrees maybe. So the technician went out there and fixed the Pappies.
Okay.
Is the NOTAM lifted?
I'll have to take a look.
Was there a NOTAM? I don't recall there being a NOTAM.
I don't think there was a NOTAM. Was there one on the 27N,
No, the
9?
9N.
Oh, you're looking, oh, okay, I can look into it.
I can answer my own question. Go ahead.
All right,
That's it.
cool. I see we have no vacancies in the hangars.
No new updates.
What a shame. I think we need to build more. Board of County Commissioner updates. Those of you that were there at the BOCC's last meeting for the aviation, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The NOTAM is still applicable.
It's,
It's still applicable.
okay, I'll change it.
For 9,
that's
saying that is out of service.
serious.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you. Yeah, we need to rescind that note on then.
I will do that.
As I was saying, those that came to the aviation workshop, unfortunately, the schedule was such that Daniel was only able to get through about the first half of his presentation, much to the chagrin of the commissioners, who then had all of his recommended action items on their agenda. I thought they did the best they could in getting those that were pretty obvious passed. And now they're going to apparently have another aviation workshop at some point to go over the rest of the recommendations. In the meantime, I put together a document that reflected the consensus of the Aviation Advisory Board based on our last discussions over the past few months. The plan was for me to present that at the meeting, at the workshop. I didn't get to do that, so I've taken it upon myself to meet individually with the commissioners and pass that on to them in person. So far, I've met with Commissioners Finnegan and Bays and Davis, and still waiting to hear back from Commissioner Schleybaugh and Kennard as to their availability. And at some point, especially if I don't hear back from them, I'll just email all 5 of them our consensus document, and then they'll have that for their consideration. Questions on that? Comments, snide remarks? Anything else with the county commissioners? Nothing? Okay. Major project status. Are we still extending the runway?
We are. The pre-EA is so close to being done, so I'm preparing that July, I'm actually gonna have an update.
Okay. Getting new fuel tanks still?
We are, still under review, but that should be going out shortly as well, out to the streets.
Are we
Out to
still
the-
removing the wetlands and studying the wildlife?
Oh, yes, I meant to remove that.
Ah,
The project's over with, it's done.
okay,
Yep.
cool.
Got our reports, nothing important to note.
And we're studying and removing the obstructions in Inverness?
It's gonna be a part of the master plan that's for Inverness, but there's no updates as of right now.
How about the business park?
So close to being done. Yeah, Seco's done with their part. We just need to do some testing of the lift station. And our contractor's gonna be out there in a few weeks, and on the 17th, and for that whole week, should be wrapping it up. So by July's next meeting, should have a good old update for you. Yeah.
The corporate hangar?
Work authorization's been approved, and PO is being processed to be cut, so I'm gonna be starting a kickoff, hopefully soon, to go over that.
I hear we have some new runway markings in Inverness.
Oh, yeah. I encourage you to go out there and fly and take a look. The markings look fantastic. I'm really pleased, especially with the Type 3 bead reflective in the paint. So it's highlighted.
Nice.
And thank you, Barry, for taking pictures. I appreciate that. And even Wright Rudder, there was a few guys, I think, that took some pictures as well. So it's great to see the before and after.
Wonderful. When I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts this afternoon on my way here, I noticed there was a gentleman out in the parking lot hand painting the lines for one of the parking spots.
Yeah.
And he was using pink and orange and blue in combination to make a really nice, obvious highlighted parking space. I wonder if they used any sort of that sort of imagination at Inverness. Probably not.
No, we're going to keep it within
Just the
standards.
standard white, huh? All right, all right. So is that project done then?
That project is complete.
Okay.
Yep, just got to do the back-end documents, and that should be it.
Andy, all good? You happy with it? Good. Airport signage and landscaping project?
No new updates.
Not quite sure how we differentiate between major and minor projects, but how about the minor projects? How are they coming along?
Would you like to know?
I would.
Major are gonna be with your CIP. I can change the heading. I could put CIP projects you want, and for minor, I could put projects that are within my operating budget.
Oh,
Like painting a
okay.
hangar and things like that.
Fair enough. No, the names are fine. The names are fine. No reason to add to your workload.
Yes, sir.
I was just wondering. Okay, so, how are we coming on these?
For the minor project AWAS, no new updates there, still waiting on FAA for the grant agreement. Clean and paint M hangars, no new updates. Replace deck and ramp. PO's cut, we're just waiting for the ramp to get here. And so, and that's the ramp for Bay Flight at the north end of Inverness.
Okay,
Clean and paint corporate hangar and seal roof at Crystal River, no new updates. Clean and paint shade hangar at Crystal River, no new updates. And the replacement awning at Crystal River, PO is in processing, and work should be starting hopefully soon.
very good.
And that is,
Thank you. Sir,
got to come up,
come on up.
state your name, state your business.
Bud Shaffer, Inverness.
How are you?
Good. Just had a couple of questions on, what's the corporate hangar at Inverness?
It hasn't been designed yet, but it's
Who's
gonna,
it for?
well, it's the county's hangar, and it's going to be going to the south of where it could be going south of where the T hangars are at now.
Okay. And the other question, what are the M hangars? at
The hangars on
Inverness?
the north side of,
The box hangars? The three of them?
yes.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Any presentations to present?
Not at this time.
Any updates on towers?
None.
Anything on airport security? Are we secure?
We are secure.
Excellent. Anything else we need to communicate to the board? We've got our bylaws that are going out. I'm sending them, I'm communicating with them, of course, on our recommendations to the ICE study. And you and I have talked, Daniel, about my thoughts with respect to the appraisal. I just passed on to him the things you and I had talked about as far as what sort of things we might be, that the board could use as far as information.
Absolutely.
At this point, we'll throw the meeting back open to the public. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say or ask or rant about? Sir, here we go.
Bud Shaffer, Inverness. Another question on the M hangars. Why is the county painting those? He owns those hangars.
Are you talking about, you're talking about the brown ones on the very north end? Or
Well,
I'm talking about the ones in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been doing that all along.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Just had some thoughts, Andy Chan, right, Redder, had some thoughts about the power line balls. One thing is there's going to be a huge voltage difference, and that may change the safety procedures because transmission lines versus local lines. Just a thought that I had.
And that's almost certainly why it's more money. The question is how much more is the right amount. They have to wear extra thick gloves. They've got to have an extra tall ladder.
You gotta have a dead man stick and you gotta have all sorts of, I don't know,
Right,
but I'll find out.
okay.
Any kind of date range for the ramp I can give those guys, because they really kind of need that.
I know,
It's kind of dangerous.
I know. I don't have a date at this
Okay.
time, but
And I know it's not the first one, we're waiting on it. Okay.
we're waiting on, for it to get here. It's,
Yep.
should be a metal ramp, and when it gets here, as soon as the information comes in, I'm pretty transparent, I'll let you guys
No,
know.
appreciate it.
So I don't have a date though.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Seeing none, our next meeting, actually, any members of the board have anything they'd like to say? Anything to add? Our next meeting is July 11th. Thank you, everybody, for the flexibility of moving to moving our week up here. I know that Ms. Jenkins was on vacation. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us instead. My lovely bride and I will be in Alaska next week for 10 days. And so we hope to have a little bit of salmon while we're up there, perhaps a crab leg or two, and maybe do a little bit of hiking, see some outdoors, get out of the heat. So, with nothing else, if there is nobody else that has anything to say, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Charlie, second by Mark. Discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?